we are headed to the dog park. This morning, I have blocked off the whole entire day as a self-care, me day. If you can't tell by the fact that I am wearing navy ship gray right now, you guys, I am a little bit sad. God, I have just been like going through it, you know? And it's crazy because I had a call with my manager last week just because we just had to both of us had some life updates, just wanted to catch up as friends. It wasn't even a business meeting. There was no business involved. It was just life update as friends. And I got on the call and she was like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm okay. And she was like, I, for some reason, feel like you're not okay. And I was like, you're right. I'm crashing and burning. And then even I had my dad call me yesterday and he asked me how I was, and I was like, I'm okay. And he was like, are you really okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I just have really not fun life stuff happening, and it's nothing to do with baby, my pregnancy. Even this morning, I was just laying in bed thinking oh my gosh, I was gifted a super easy, amazing pregnancy because the universe knew all of this was going to go down. And I feel so lucky. I feel so blessed. And even mood swings, hormones, I don't know what it is, but I swear pregnancy has leveled me out in terms of my mental health. I have never felt so freaking level in terms of my mental health. It's just I have things going on in my life that have made life really, really tough recently. And it's been a struggle. So, if you guys couldn't tell, I've been really throwing myself into work and even coming up with a workshop tour and doing consultations and stuff. I'm usually someone that doesn't like to push myself into work when I'm going through a tough time because I don't ever want to look at my work in a resentful way, I guess. Look back and be oh my gosh, well now I just hate my work because, it was kind of a coping mechanism for me type thing. But this is the first time I'm actually allowing myself to do it because it's been the one thing that's made me feel really, really good recently. And I just need that. So I was talking with my man the other day, and he was like, what have you done for yourself recently? What self-care? And I was like, oh, well, I've been taking the dogs to the dog park. We go every other day, sometimes back-to-back days. It just depends on the weather and what is going on. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing that. And he was like, Cathrin, that's for the dogs. That's not for you. And I was like, well, I get to sit outside and have some sunshine and I read or I chill out on my phone. Yeah, it's for me as well. And he was like, no, that's for the dogs. And he even pressed me. He was like, okay, what have you been buying recently? Have you bought anything for yourself? And I'm like, well, baby items. So technically it's for myself. Oh gosh, it's so not. So he is so incredibly sweet. He was like, Cathrin, you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And he actually booked me a massage today. So I've got a 90-minute prenatal massage. I was like, I don't need 90 minutes, but God love him. He sent me a huge bouquet of flowers yesterday, and I do have therapy today as well. So I'm just taking the day for myself because I need it. And I didn't expect to cry this early in this video, but now here we are. It's freaking the gray, man. It's the gray. Gray's for navy ships. I should have known better. Put this on, it's a joke. And now here we are. Oh my gosh, okay. We're gonna go to Starbucks, and I'm gonna take these girlies to the dog park because they love it so much, and seeing them happy makes me happy. So, let's go.
What are the chances that someone at the dog park has actually seen my YouTube videos? I was chatting with this guy for probably over 20 minutes, and then he was like, you know who you look like with your red hair? Let me show you. And then he asked what I did, and I was like, oh, I work in digital marketing. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is you. Yep. That's me. That's so wild. In the last week, I have run into 2 people that have known who I am. Like, my whole entire career, this doesn't happen to me. Like, I don't get recognized, especially living in Birmingham, like living in Alabama. I do not get recognized by subscribers or people that have like seen any of my content. But in the last week, 2 people. It's just wild. But I'm like, self-care day. Girl, let me turn this down for you, give you some more air, huh? I'm like, self-care day, and I'm here at the dog park talking about YouTube and how to make money. Anyway, dog park was nice. Let's go home. Very successful start to the morning. Because I was talking with that guy, and honestly, it was like perfect temperature outside, low 70s, overcast, so like the dogs weren't getting too hot. Oh my gosh, she's so sleepy. The girls were like fine running around, but I think that's the longest we've ever spent at the dog park. There was one point where I was like, oh my gosh, have we been here for 2 hours? We weren't there for 2 hours, but I just checked my cameras because I'm like, I don't even know what time I got to the dog park. We were out of the house for 2.5 hours. So that's a lot for them. They will be sleeping for a while, which is perfect. Glad that I've got them taken care of. I only did like a tiny bit of reading this morning because I was chatting with that guy most of the time. I do want to take out my garbage, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I'm like, I don't have therapy until 2:15, and then my massage is after that. So I've got a lot of time. We'll figure it out. I decided to bring my book outside, read a little bit more, and of course as soon as I sat down I was just like staring at the water in awe, watching like dragonflies, birds, saw a fish jump, just chilling. And then I closed my eyes and was just listening to the sounds of nature. So if you don't really know like my reasoning for why I've always wanted to live on a lake and like why this is something I've been working towards my whole life, growing up, our one family vacation was going to the lake. So every year we would go down to the lake, camp, and that was our family spot. And there's no place I feel more at peace, more at home, more just so like calm than the lake. And going through my personal development journey, I realized that something I'm like longing for in my life is a sense of peace. And if I can live in a place that makes me feel peaceful, that brings me that peace, like obviously I want to do that. So when I found this property, like this water is everything. Like, it's not the biggest lake in the world. It's not even really like a swimmable lake, even though I did see my neighbors swimming in it the other day and I was like, oh, so people actually swim in this. You can't see what's there, and like I see some sticks and things like poking up out of the water, so I'm like, how deep is this water? Like, what is even in there? I'm not sure. But it's just like moments like this where especially I need the grounding, I need the peace of the water, that I'm so freaking grateful I live here, but I'm also reminded like I need to sit in these chairs more. Like I need to just come outside, sit in these chairs, look at the water. I just feel so calm here. Anyway, I am gonna get to reading. I have been reading this book ever since I went to the beach. I've not been consistent at all with my reading, but I am like over halfway through at this point. So if you guys are pregnant, expecting, and you're just looking for, this is like an evidence-based pregnancy book. It shares a lot of different just like data points and trials that have been done. So if you're curious, like if you can change your cat's litter, or like what's the reasoning of like not touching your cat's litter type thing, like all of it is broken down in this, from sushi to turkey meat to even turkey meat, deli meat, you guys understand. Even just like facts about like conception and everything. It's interesting. It's a good read. I have honestly really enjoyed it. It's just like I have not stuck with it as much as I should have. But you know, I'll be done soon enough. Can you just like tell how quiet it is here? Like I hear a helicopter in the distance. And then I just hear nature. There's no street noise. I love it here. I love it here. I'm about to start my therapy session. So I do therapy online, which is kind of nice. It's just like convenience of my home. This is actually the way that I first tried therapy, and it didn't work for me. I was just honestly in like a very different phase of my life where I felt like I had to be on. Like that was when my 2 YouTube channels were separate. Actually, did I even have, no, I didn't, no, I did have 2 YouTube channels at the time. But I was very much so like, if I am on video, even if it's therapy through a computer, I was like, I have to be on and I have to be and it was really, really hard for me to just like chill out and not be in that headspace. So now I feel like I'm just a different person, but also I'm more myself on camera than I was before, of like having to be perfect and put together. So I feel like I can just, you know, cry to my therapist and everything's fine. I was just setting up my camera to get a little like time lapse of therapy, and then I was like, Cathrin, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because I can't really stop it midway the way I was gonna place my camera. So just know I'm gonna be in therapy for the next hour, okay? And I will see you guys after. I guess I actually like don't look that bad, but shocker, not a shocker at all. I most definitely cried. It was like from the second she was like, how you doing? And I was like, I'm okay, how are you? Like, is it weird that I'm like, I always ask these questions back to my therapist, and I'm like, how you doing? How's your family? Yeah, so cried a couple of times during it. We hit a lot of different points though, and honestly, so I've been going to therapy for a couple of months now, and it has been every week for an hour, and I've really, really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoy the therapist that I found, working with her. I feel like when I'm talking with her, I'm like talking with a friend and I'm venting, but she's also offering me like professional advice, or like, okay, here's what we can work on. And even like at the end of every session, almost, she actually didn't do it this week, but she usually says, what would you like to work on for this next coming week? And it almost gives me like a little bit of a homework assignment. And I really like that. It helps me, it holds me accountable, as well as like I feel like I'm actually making some progress. So we're working on like a bunch of different things, one of them being boundaries. And she is like a huge lover, believer in boundaries. And like the more she shares of like the boundaries she's had to like set up in her life that like relate to like boundaries I'm trying to create in mine, I'm like, wow, especially with some people in my life, it's like I don't have a backbone. I am just like an absolute people pleaser, and I will just totally cave, and that is not the person I want to be. That's not the person I need to be. And especially with events that have transpired, it's like that's not what I can continue to allow. So yeah, anyway, I just scheduled my appointment for next week because actually after the last appointment I had, which was 2 weeks ago, I just closed my computer and didn't schedule my next appointment. And then by the time I went to schedule, I couldn't actually get in. So it's been 2 weeks And I don't like that. I'm like, we need weekly, especially with what's going on in my life and like the progress I'm trying to make. It was nice to hear today though. She was like, I feel like we are now hitting this phase. And I was like, woo, we're making progress. We're not just like standing still. So anyway, I have got my massage in 40 minutes here. Very excited for that. I did throw some laundry in though, so I think I might fold my laundry and go to the bathroom and then head out. That massage, life-giving. Oh my gosh, she asked before it started, like any problems, like any areas I want her to focus on, and I was like, I just carry a lot of stress, a lot of tension in my shoulders and neck, and oh my gosh, as she was working through, like even some of the knots in my mid-back, I had no idea they were there, but my shoulders right here specifically, wow. Wow, I felt like that was great practice for birth in terms of like my breathing techniques and stuff, because that's what I was doing, trying to like get through that pain. Oh, wow. That was amazing though. At first I was like 90 minutes, like I don't know if I've ever done a massage that long. I'm usually like a 45-minute, hour-long person, but he got me a 90-minute massage and that was so good. Like I could not believe when it was over. I was like, that was 90 minutes already? Insane. So I fed the girls, if you could hear Fancy chomping in the background. She just finished up, and I actually have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I've got another ultrasound, so that's to finish the, do not lick my legs, I'm like all lotion, girl. To finish the anatomy scan, the stuff that they couldn't see. I've got the glucose test and then just like general appointment. And actually, my man got off, so he is coming and gets to go to the appointment with me. I'm so excited. So I am gonna like prep for him to be, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited. So thank you guys for joining me for a fun self-care day. I got no footage of the spa, which is like absolutely not surprising. It's not like spas are phone-friendly places, you know, and I was definitely not bringing my camera in there, so I got no clips, but that's okay. Just know it happened and it was amazing. And I am going to let my dogs out and talk to you guys later. Bye.